you talked about MEV. I'm sure a lot of Web3 users, they know about MEV, and some of them know about it in depth, but most of them they fear it. So can you describe a little about what MEV is for them, and why having encryption and more security, or more focus around MEV is important, specifically in the world of rollups nowadays?
Oh, so let me try two different approaches here. So one is kind of the definitory definition is essentially saying MEV is the maximal extractable value, is the amount of value in, let's say, dollar terms that is extracted from essentially meddling with the transaction order. Yeah? So either from front running or injecting transactions or from back running, actually anything that is like meddling with the transaction order and then extracting value from it, that's essentially MEV. And then the simple example is your typical front run, yeah, which also happens in the non-crypto world, the real world, essentially, right? Where you have, let's say, a big order coming in to an AMM or a DEX, even like a normal club order book DEX or order book exchange, where someone has some type of prioritize or kind of someone can see transactions earlier than others, essentially. For example, because they are connected to the block producer in a better way than other people. Maybe they have some back channel or there's some way to communicate with them. So you want to do your big trade coming in, and this other person is seeing it and is able to exploit the knowledge of that trade, because obviously that big order is going to change the price significantly potentially, right? So exploiting that knowledge, and then in crypto, it's you can do these atomic transactions, right? So you can then actually slot in a transaction right before, buy at a cheaper price, big buy order drives up the price, and essentially then for the user it looks like this, that essentially the user is then going to max out their slippage and is going to lose a substantial amount in the trading performance, right? So I think that's essentially just of it. And the other approach maybe to explain it is essentially it's sort of what blockchain is all about, right? So blockchain is essentially Satoshi Nakamoto in the Bitcoin white paper talks about the clock, right? So it talks a lot about transaction ordering and making sure that this blockchain is essentially a clock that a very trustworthy clock that orders transactions, right? And this works extremely well on the 10-minute scale, or on Ethereum on the, say, 10-second scale, right? But it doesn't really work below, let's say, 4 seconds, because globally you have network round trip latency. So at that smaller level, transaction ordering, blockchain actually doesn't really solve what it's designed to solve, which is transaction ordering kind of fairness, right? And that's where the encrypted mempool can jump in and essentially take that role of fixing it.